book make the whole card, which I don't always do, but I think it'll take about 2 minutes to make the fun fold. So we'll go ahead and decorate it. I have done a lot of the prep, so you don't have to, hopefully it won't take too long, okay? So let's just go ahead and turn the camera over and get started. So the card I'm going to make today is the card, let's call it a version of the card that will be posted on my blog, fearlessstampandflair.com, tomorrow. And it is made with this Simply Beautiful stamp set bundle. And this is the card that is on the blog. The paper, the designer paper, is part of the suite. This is actually a mega suite that's called Lovely and Beautiful, I think. And this is a mega suite, usually has 2 bundles and then a bunch of other stuff. And I featured the other bundle last week. So this week I am featuring Simply Beautiful, which is the one with all the flowers. Let me just show you. These are the images that are in this Simply Beautiful stamp set. And these are the dies. So we are using mainly the dies today. I'm not doing a lot of stamping. And this is one of the colors that are in the suite from the paper called Lovely and Beautiful. And this card is made with 2-tone cardstock. We're not going to do that today, but if you haven't seen or used 2-tone cardstock, you might want to buy one of the combination packs, which is what I've done to, it's probably going to be hard to see on camera. One side is slightly lighter than the other, and this is the pattern we used for this card. But today, I'm going to use one of the other patterns. So that's the only difference. Other than that, my intent is to make it exactly the same. And the main thing is to show you how to make the fun fold. So I'm going to use these colors today, which pulls out the Calypso Coral. Now, I do not have Calypso Coral 2-tone cardstock. I don't have all the colors. I have a few of them, but it'll work just as well with a single color cardstock. You do need to have 12 by 12. And I have pre-cut things. Put that out of our way. I will set it. Let me show you the fun fold, how it works actually. Maybe it has 3 flaps. Okay, and this card base is all made with 1 piece of cardstock that is 11 3/4 by 5 1/2. So it ends up being a regular A2 size card, which is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So let's just go ahead and I'll show you how to score this. Now, I had not made this fun fold before. I saw a video of it. And when I followed the video, I didn't end up with an A2 size card. It was a little bit smaller. So I modified some adjustments, modified some dimensions, I should say, to get it to an A2 size card. And so I made it a little bit wider or taller, you could say, and longer. But you do need 12-inch cardstock. So I'm just going to use Calypso Coral to go with this color. And lots of times when I haven't made a fun fold before, I don't necessarily want to start out with my gray cardstock or designer paper. So sometimes, depending on what I'm using, I will make a little template. So I have some Sahara sand here left over in 12 by 12. And I went ahead and made this, and so you can see on here, this is scored at 1 1/2, 4 1/2, and 7 1/2. So it doesn't get much simpler than that. So let's just go ahead and do that. So we will score at 1 1/2, 4 1/2. I don't know if you can see my measurements. I have to scooch this down a little bit. And now we need to open our arm on our trimmer. If you have a Simply Score tool, or a Stampin' Score tool, what's it called? I don't know. The big 12 by 12 or bigger than 12 by 12 piece with all the score things. And then we have to go over to 7 1/2. Okay. So that is all the scoring we have to do. Easy, right? And now we're just going to fold, and we're going to fold this into a valley, a mountain, and a valley. Is that right? Yep, valley, mountain, valley. This is on the tutorial that you will be able to download from my blog post tomorrow. So we're just going to fold, and now it's really just fan fold. Okay, and we'll take our bone folder and give these a good crease. And sometimes I like to do them on both sides, just to kind of make it really good. I got a bit of the sniffles today, so I might have to wipe my nose once in a while. I don't feel like I have a cold. It feels like more like the weather has changed and it's messed with my sinuses or something. I feel fine. Okay, so that is our fold. Now what we want to do is these two center panels right here. We're just going to adhere them together, and that's how we get our two flaps. So it doesn't get much easier than that, does it? So let's just go ahead and add some adhesive. And I want to keep it kind of close to the fold if I can. Doesn't matter. I could put it on this side too. It doesn't matter. And we'll fold that over and just give it a good press. And we have our fun fold. That's it. That is how easy it is. So how long did that take? I hadn't chatted at all or had to stop to wipe my nose. Probably a couple of minutes. Very, very easy. So now we're just going to go ahead and decorate it. And all the dimensions are on my blog post. This is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. I just made everything a 1/4 inch smaller. Sometimes we do 8ths. You could put double layers if you wanted. You could add a mat. Just remember you already got 4 thicknesses of cardstock right here. So sometimes if you're worried, if it's not going to be hand delivered, you make it a little thick over here on this edge for mailing. I usually don't let that stop me if that's what I want to do. So which way? This is kind of an up or down. So I'm going to do it this way so the leaves look like they're up. The other one's, this Calypso Coral side seems multi-directional, so I don't think we really have to worry about which way I put it. I hope not, because I didn't pay attention. So let's just go ahead and stick this in. It's looking better already, right? And let's just go ahead. I did not put a sentiment on the inside. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that next. And you know how you make a card one time and then you make it a second time and you learn something. So on this inside card, when you go to write, I have glue on my fingers. When you go to write your message, you're going to have to be careful. Or if you stamp something, don't keep it away from this edge. And on my first one, I put a rather wide border over here, not thinking about that. So when I fold it down, I've basically got 1.5 inches maybe to write. So this one, it needs something, I think. It's a little bit unfinished looking if I didn't put anything. So I am just going to put, I only made this one like 1/2 inch. And I'm going to put it way over here, way on the edge. And I rarely cut these little strips to length, to finished length, because I like to put them on and then just flip them over and cut it to length. That way, in case I slightly miscut or the paper slid when I cut, I don't end up with something too short. If it's too long and I go in knowing it's too long, I can always cut it off. And just use the back as your guide. So now we can go ahead and put that on our mat, and we're just going to get that done. And then we will make our flowers for the front, and I'll show you how I did that. I'm not going to die cut them all. I have them all die cut already. But I will show you how many of each I did. And then how I colored them and how I assembled them. Okay. We'll get this on here. Look at that. I did cut this wrong. Okay, so I have to cut this down. What did I measure it? Let me grab my... Now I got glue on here, so I don't know if I really want to cut it. I bet you I cut it 5 I cut it 4. This should be 4 1/4. It is not. It is 4. I bet you I cut this piece wrong. So we'll finish that later. Okay. Actually, maybe I just better stick it on there because I have glue on there. I think I cut this at 5 1/2 instead of, or at 11 1/2 instead of 11 1/4. You know what? We're going to fix that because otherwise it's just not going to work. So I need this to be 11 3/4, and right now it is 12. So I have to cut off 1/4 of an inch, and I better make sure it's 5 1/2. So you're going to see me cut the whole thing now. Okay, there's our 5 1/2. Let's see if I can do it right this time. I know I cut off a 1/2 inch. I just want to cut off 1/4. Otherwise, I was touting how I turned it in an A2 size card. But when I cut it wrong, I didn't, right? Okay, so now we're going to score again. Luckily, this is the easy part. Okay, 1 1/2. Make sure I use my score blade, not my cutting blade. 4 1/2. And 7 1/2. All right. Let's measure this side over here and make sure I have 4 1/4. I do now. All right. So now we're going to do this again. And where'd my bone folder go? I'm going to burnish these good. Make sure I fold them the right way. And I did. They are marked on the tutorial, Valley, Mountain Valley, for reference, so you don't have to take any notes. And now we're going to glue this down again. All right. See, it's a good thing this card base is easy, right? Don't you love it when people making videos make a mistake? I do, because it makes me feel normal. We all make mistakes. Well, problem is now I need to cut some more paper too. So do I have, this is just the same side on both sides, and this should be 5 1/4. So I need this to be, I did all that pre-cutting for nothing. You're getting just watch me you're getting to watch me cut again. So I need 1 1/4 for the front, and I need, which way do I want this? All right, let's put this on the inside, which was, what did I say it was? I don't know. I guess I could measure the old piece. If I could find my old card, we'll use this one. Oh, I should just look at my tutorial. Duh. Okay. The inside center flap is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. So let's do this 2 3/4. And that's going to go on the inside. And now we want, on the front, we want 1 1/4. I do not go by memory on these things. I look it up because, well, just because. A funny story relative to not being, while you watch me do this again, not being able to remember things. I have my office up on the 3rd floor, and this is down in the lower level. So 2 floors away is my office. And every time I have to run up there from down here to get something, my printer's up there. So when I print something, I have to run up there, and I get up there, and I can't remember why I came. So I have to come all the way back downstairs to remember. As soon as I get back downstairs, then I remember. And so then I go back up again. I call it my exercise plan, but I wish I could really remember. I have to concentrate, I guess. So last week, I had to have this little annual visit. They come to your house. It's a thing that my insurance does, and they just want to do, I don't know, for us older people, I guess. And they do this memory test, and they give you, all right, we're back where we started. So now I should be able to put this in here, but I better add some fresh glue. So I'm telling you about my memory test story. So they give you, does anybody else have to do these? I was talking to a friend over the weekend, and she's like, yeah, she has to do it too. They give you 3 words, and then they go ahead and they start chatting and asking you other questions, and they tell you, I'm going to come back later and ask you to remember what those words were. Well, I'm like, I can't even walk up the stairs or into another room and remember why I went there. So there we go. Now I got glue on here a little bit. So let me get my glue eraser. I have glue on my hands. Do you have one of these little rubber glue erasers? These things are a lifesaver. If you don't have one, most hobby stores will sell them. I'm sure you can find them online, probably lots of places. Stampin' Up does not sell them anymore. They used to. But they're great if you get glue or you don't want it. So they continue asking you questions. And I'm concentrating on these 3 words that they gave me. And the words were banana, sunshine, and sharing. And I'm thinking about those words the whole time they're asking me questions because I don't want to forget and seem like I'm stupid. So in the meantime, they tell you to draw a clock and put the hands at 10 after 11. Well, I wasn't really paying attention other than I heard I have to draw a clock. And so I get the clock drawn, and I'm still thinking about banana, sunshine, and sharing. And I'm like, what time did he say? I didn't remember hearing what he said. You know, it had something to do with 11. So I took a guess. I go, did you say 10 after 11? And I was right. But I don't know. It's like, you asked me to memorize something, and I know I can't remember what I came in a room for 2 minutes after I left to go get whatever I was getting. How am I going to remember these words with all this other stuff going on? Anyway, I did. I passed the test. So. And I got the clock right too. All right, enough of that story. So I have pre-die cut 3 of the large flowers and 3 of the small flowers. And I'm just going to color the centers with some Calypso Coral ink. I used Fresh Freesia on the one on the other card. But we're going to use Calypso Coral since my card base is Calypso Coral. And I'm going to use my small blending brush. You could use a sponge dauber, whatever you have. I like to do, this one's got lots of ink, so I don't want it real dark. So I brush some off, and then we're just going to color the centers of each of these, just to give them a little bit of color. I kind of want it, I don't want it real dark, because I'm trying to kind of keep it a little bit soft. And that's it. Look how quick and easy that is. Okay. Now, the hardest part is figuring out how these flowers go together. So what I die cut was I cut 2 of this design, which is kind of the smaller of the 2 on the dies. Here's the picture of the dies. You see there's two of them. This one I call the smaller one. It's just kind of skinnier. And this is the fatter one, which is this one here. So I cut two of the smaller ones, and I did the same thing with these little flowers. I cut the small flowers. I cut two of these and one of those. So I have three. Now, like I said, the hardest part is figuring out what's the right way to layer these. And honestly, I don't know. I twisted and turned multiple times when I did this, and I'm not sure I got it right. Probably is no right or wrong. But what I like to do is just take the first one, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue just in the middle. I kind of like to take these and curl them just a little bit. You can use your bone folder. I'll do the other one with the bone folder. Just be careful because you got these little things in the center here. So let's just kind of put that. I don't know. That doesn't seem right. But honestly, it doesn't matter really what I do because none of them totally seem right. So if you want to curl them with the bone folder, just like you would be curling ribbon. I just do that because it gives a little bit of lift on the tips, which is what usually happens on flowers. All right, now we're going to figure out where this goes. I like that one. We're going to leave that there. And then I like to take the top layer and put that on with one dimensional. It just gives it a little bit. You don't have to put it on. Oh, now which way did I have it? Was it that way or that way? I think it was. Oh boy. I had it right the first time and I should have paid attention. See, it's kind of like can't remember those three words. All right, that'll work. Now we're going to do the small one. So let's put the larger one first, and then we're going to take one of these smaller ones, put a little bit of glue just in the center. And again, we can curl these a little bit with our fingers. And go ahead and lay this down. And once again, we have a challenge of figuring out which way is the right way. I don't know. I just really don't know. Sometimes when I did it the first time, I swear, none of the ways looked right. It always looked like I had a flat flower on one side or something. I don't know. Now I need just a tiny little dimensional. So let's just cut off. And again, you can put these down flat if you want. I like a lot of dimension on a card, so I tend to use dimensionals. Okay, we're gonna say that's good. I don't know. This one looks a little wonky to me. Like it should have something there. We'll stick a leaf there. That's what we'll do. I don't know. I think I worry about stupid things too much when I'm stamping. All right. So now we're just going to add, and I die cut these little stamen for the center from gold foil. This is a great way. Never throw away your scraps of gold foil. I got these all cut out of scraps. I'm always so proud of myself when I don't have to cut a new sheet. All right, now so this, I'm not sure where this piece goes either. Gotta hold it a minute for the gold to just make sure it sticks. And add a little glue on here. Okay, I'm gonna put this up kinda. I'm going to put that up towards that place that seems a little bare. I don't know. Okay, so now we got our flowers. Now we need some leaves. And again, I made one of these, and I made one of these large leaves. So these were stamped with old olive ink, and I used a blending brush to color a little bit. And again, what I learned on my first card was I wished I had brought this ink out a little further to the tips, because once I tucked it behind the flower, you really didn't see a lot of my green. So I'm going to add a little bit of ink here, and I'm just going to come out towards the end a little bit more. Just so I have some green out at the end, because it got buried behind the flower. I guess we learn as we go, right? So let's go ahead and stick our leaves. Actually, I think I'm going to put my flowers on, at least the big flower on first. Now, we have to make sure that we only attach it, of course, to this leftmost flat. And it's not very much. So when you put this flower on here, you kind of want it to be centered over these two, but there's not a whole lot here to glue down. So what I did was I made I die cut this is from the largest rectangle die in Nested Essentials. I think they're still available. They might be on the last chance list. But you wouldn't have to use a die. You could just cut a small piece of cardstock. This one measures about 2 3/8 by 3-ish. And again, that's not critical, but let's just go ahead and I'm going to put that on here because now I got more surface to put my flowers on, okay? So I like to lay this like this so I can see where to add my glue. Or my tape, if I was using snail, I could see where to, I could use, what's it called? Tear and tape. But we're just going to use this liquid glue because this is what I've got handy. So again, you have to make sure you don't get any glue on this side because it's going to be hanging over the edge. So, and I'm going to kind of center it vertically and horizontally and hold it just for a minute. Didn't get any glue on that side, so that's good. Now I have a better surface to adhere my flowers to. And I have glue on here as well. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to flip this over because I got glue on there. And glue is still on my fingers. Drives me nuts. Okay, so now how do I want my flower to go? I don't want to, this side is still kind of the flat side, so I'm going to put that this way and let the other sides hang over. And I am going to just adhere this in the center, and then I can tuck my leaves underneath. And you can go out a little bit from the center, but not too much because you want to leave. You want to be able to get your leaves underneath. So that's, and every card's going to be different depending on how you want to do it. I don't know why I debate so long. Again, these flowers, there's really no right or wrong, but for some reason I feel like there might be a right or a wrong. So now we've got these leaves and I can place them, I can tuck them under there and see where I grabbed the wrong ones. So before I put them up here, where do I want them? Can't extend out over here. So that I know I can't do. Debate. Oh, I think I like it down here. We're just going to go with the way I did it before and stop overthinking it. Okay. So now I can add some glue just to this stem here and the bottom of this, and it will adhere to that white die cut that I put there. So then I can just press that down. And same thing on this one. We'll just put a little bit on the stem and here. And I could curl these leaves too if I wanted. I didn't curl the big ones, but I certainly could. Okay. That looks pretty good. It looks like it needs something out here, but we'll put a couple gems over there. So on the inside, on this side, I really didn't know where to put it, a sentiment on here. So I thought, well, I'll put the sentiment on this panel, and that kind of gives this panel a purpose. So I used the sentiment from the Simply Beautiful stamp set, and it's stamped in Old Olive, and I just fussy cut it because I didn't want to cover up too much of this pretty paper. Now, when you put this on here, make sure you look so it's not like sticking out, right? So you have to look where, kind of where you want it. I think I'm going to put it up here. And what I learned on here is I felt like it was a little lacking something. And when you die cut all these flowers, I know what I didn't do. I didn't put this flower on. So we're going to put that flower down there. Oh, that takes pretty, oh, Pat. That's what I forgot. So we're going to put that flower down there. All right, I'm jumping all over. But I still remember those 3 words from my test last week. Banana, sunshine, and sharing. Wonder how long I'll remember that. I don't know. Okay. I put the flower up here on the other one. This will look good. That looks good. I like that. Covers up that blank spot down there. All right. I thought this looked a little sorry. So what I was thinking was when you die cut these flowers, and I die cut these other ones before I made the video today, you have all these little pieces that come out of the flowers. And I thought, you know, I don't know if we're going to do this or not, but I thought, could I like tuck these behind these little things? I think that looks kind of cute. Don't you know? What I don't know is, are they going to show when I close it? No, that one would be all right. Do they need to be green? Maybe they should, the tips. Maybe I should color these tips green. I'm kind of designing on the fly this time. Okay, let's add a little green on these. And since I don't know, oh, that's the back side. Since I don't know which ones I'm going to use, let's just color a few of them. And I got them colored. If we use them, we use them. If we don't, we throw them away. I was going to throw them away anyway. All right, maybe a couple of the smaller ones. I think these little tiny ones that came out of the little flowers, I think those are a little too small to be of any consequence. So let's try this. All right, let's get this where I want it. And I want to make sure it's not partially sticking out there, just because I don't want that. There or down there to be hidden. We're going to put it back up here where I thought. All right, so I need it right about there. And I am just going to add adhesive just kind of in the center for now. Just to kind of hold it. I can go back and sneak a little adhesive under there if I need to. I am probably not even in the screen, am I? There we go. So we got it up there. Okay, that just covering that point. Let's see if I can slide it in just a bit. This is why you don't want to add too much. Then I can move it around. Okay. All right. Now it's not peeking out. Now let's try to see how this looks. There. There's one with 3. Let's try one of these with more. I don't know. Does that look better or not look better? Does it look better? I wonder if it looks better with white than the green. How about one white and one green? Oh, you're probably thinking just glue them down and move on. Yeah, we're almost done, guys. This is the last little thing. I do kind of like having something there though. So we're gonna stick these down, and I will put the glue on the back. And just kind of tuck them under. And let's use this one. And tuck this one under a little further out, maybe. Okay, now do I need some down here? That is the question. Do we need them on both sides? Oh, probably. What about one with just 3? And 4. No, let's use a longer one, I think. Let's use that 3. We're going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to use these. You get a big choice of them here. So, and again, I didn't put this on my card. This is not in the tutorial because I didn't do this on my card that I made first. But sometimes we make a card and then we get it done and it's like, oh, I like everything except blah, blah, blah. And this, I was like, I just felt like this inside was a little bit, needed a little something. So let's put a little glue on here now. Okay, glue, come out. I don't want you to goosh. Just to hold this down. A little out here on this point. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Kind of like it. Now, what I didn't grab is some gems. So I'm going to grab some gems, put them in it, and see if I can find some that are calypso coral. Oh, how about this? These that come with the bundle, or the suite actually, pearlized faceted gems. We're going to use these. All right. Where's my take your pick tool? And we're going to flip this over. Maybe. Or maybe not. I was going to get my blade. All right, let's just use this. We can use this. So let's add a couple of these darker calypso coral ones up here. And I'm going to stick them kind of close together. I'm going to put that on the palette. And then I'm going to put one down here, and I'll use one of these larger ones. It's kind of nice they come in 2 different sizes on here. And let's just put this one down here. So now I have 3 on the front, and when I open this, I can add a couple more of these on the inside. They will be hidden, but when I open it, I will have 3 on the inside. looks fine to me. And that is our cards. We should finish our envelope. So I have a piece of this same designer paper with the flowers. And let's just go ahead and attach this to our flap. Now what I usually do is I stick my flap under a piece of paper, over a piece of paper, however you call it, the envelope's under, flap is over. And I like to get this edge nice and close. I like to get all the edges as close as I can, leaving a little room for gooshing. And then I take my designer paper and I kind of start a bit away from the edge. I don't know if you can see that. And I push it towards the edge with it touching. And I keep just a smidgen of white showing. I used to put it right up to the edge. And I found that when I put it right at the edge, it tends to come loose when you get the ravages of the post office. So now all we got to do is trim around the edges. Usually for these envelope flaps, I cut them about 6 inches long. 6 inches is comfortably longer than the envelope. You can get by with a little less, but 6 by 2 3/8 is easy. You can just make it if you're trying to really save paper. You can make it with 2 1/4. And there we go. Okay. What do you think? There is that set. And here is the other set. So now we have 2 cards, the same, in 2 different colors. What color do you like best? Soft, very soft and elegant. A little bolder color than brighter. I don't know. It would be hard to choose, I think. Obviously I didn't burnish this one as well. It wants to open, but it'll be fine. So there we go, guys. 2 cards, same card, 2 different designs. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to flip myself back here. Oh, okay. Which color do you like best? The fresh fuchsia or the calypso coral? I'm not sure. I like them both. It's hard to beat that paper. It's really pretty. So I hope you give it a try. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Share the video with somebody else. And I will be back next week with something else. I do not know what it's going to be yet. It might be another fun fold because I think next week I am doing fun folds on my blog. So maybe it'll be a different fun fold. We'll see when we get there, and I'll figure out when I get there. But until then, have a great week. Love you guys. Thank you for watching, and God bless. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.